And we're live. Guys, I'd like to welcome you to another technically challenged version of our edition of the Let's Talk Fishing Video podcast. My name is James, so I'm going to be your podcaster for this evening. And with me tonight, I have a guy who I've wanted to have on for a while. You know, I just love talking to these charter boat captains from South Louisiana. I would have none other than Captain Tim Ortego. Did I get your name right, Tim?
It's Tim Ortego.
Ortego. Oh my goodness!
That's all right.
More if I tried.
A lot of people say that. It's no big deal.
Ortego. Okay, you know, if you turn on a little bit of light in there, we might be able to see you, but there's just not enough light in there. But no, you guys are driving. Don't worry about it, guys. We're just gonna have to do it. I guess there are no technical difficulties here. There's just this guy is coming back from South Texas where he was trout fishing, but we want to talk about the fishing in South Louisiana. So how are things going around the town of Cocodrie now?
Right now, it's like the fall season, trout fishing. It's just cranked up here in the last 2 weeks. We got a first big cold, made those fish really start to move in, and things are heating up. And it ought to be really good, until it gets to the late winter, and then they do bigger cold fronts that kind of puts the fish down a little bit. But from now till February, March, you can pretty much catch them on the interior marshes.
Boy, Cocodrie is one of the few places down there I haven't fished now. I fish a lot out of Dularge.
Well, a lot of us migrate. We're still fishing the Cocodrie area. We're still catching fish a little bit on the north coast right now, in the big bay still, obviously because the water temperature hasn't got into the 60s too much yet. Once the winter kind of comes in full swing, a lot of us will kind of migrate and start running like north into Pontchartrain, Montague areas, and then some of us will make that run to the Dularge areas to the west as well.
Oh yeah, I fished with Captain Lloyd Landry last year and actually it was right around this time, and we just had a fantastic time.
Oh yeah, Lloyd's a great guy.
Fantastic fisherman, fantastic man. Wow. I had such a good time fishing with him. But man, Cocodrie. So you probably also catch a lot of reds out of there too, don't you?
Yeah, we catch everything. We catch redfish, speckled trout, sheephead. Right now, they've been busting up the pompano on the north coast and towards the beaches. Yeah, it's been a phenomenal fall. Usually, we don't have mass schools of them, but right now, they're catching 20 and 30 a day sometimes.
Wow, the only place I've ever caught pompano has been over there in Alabama.
Yeah, we catch them periodically throughout the summer as well, like when we're trout fishing, more in the bays on the south end towards the beaches and all.
Yeah,
kind of just one of those lucky things. You just kind of pop up and they're here for a little bit. And when you go make a plan to go catch them, they're gone.
Yeah, bad thing about fishing the beaches in Orange Beach, Alabama, I think half our pompano got bitten off by sharks.
We got a major shark problem where we're at. This is the first year that Louisiana has opened up to where you can keep unlimited amount of sharks, as long as they weren't like hammerhead or like shovel nose. But all your typical black tip and bull sharks, there's no limit on them. So everybody's making a point that when we catch them, we kind of do the conservation and bring them in, and we'll get our fish cleaner to clean them, and the customers take them home and have a new opportunity to try a shark that maybe they never got to try before.
Well, I ate sharks when I was working in Trinidad. They were good.
Yep. Not my cup of tea, but I feel like we got so many other things that taste better, but I don't mind doing the conservationist effort of putting them to sleep and putting them on ice and bringing them to the dock.
Yeah. I've never tried to clean one. I bet it's harder to go through a shark skin than it is to go through leather.
Yeah, I mean they use those rigid sawzalls, and they'll cut them in half and then stake them out.
Sawzalls, that makes sense.
Yeah,
sawzalls. So what are you catching trout on now?
Right now we're using like the 4 horsemen corks, popping corks, and we use like about 24 to 30 inch leader with the boom boom shrimp or like matrix shad baits. I'm using like 1/16 or 1/8 ounce death grip jig head.
What
So I
color
mean, when you use
matrix?
those, if I use a matrix at this time of year, I'm gonna use like shrimp Creole.
Yes.
Especially if you're fishing in really clean water. If the water's a little bit more stained, we'll use like a green hornet. And then
Oh
as
yeah.
far as the marker 54 shrimp, they're really phenomenal. I use a jerk shrimp underneath the cork. The knot placement's in the middle of the bait, so when you pop on that cork, the tail kind of curls and it gives it a natural kind of movement back down. And pretty much all the colors work really well. They kind of make like a, I don't know, it's kind of like a blue moonish color one with a purplish tail. That one works good if the water's a little bit more stained. And then if they have if the water's clear, I try to go with it. There's like a reddish color, and it's kind of like shrimp Creole, but it's got a kind of like a pinkish reddish color. That one works
Is that
really well as well.
Holy Jolie?
Huh?
Is that color called Holy Jolie?
No. And the marker 54, I believe, is just called the
Oh,
pink shrimp.
I'm sorry. Bay Matrix set had Holy Jolie.
Yeah, they have a Holy Jolie, but the Holy Jolie is white with like blue and silver flakes.
Okay.
The shrimp Creole is going to be your white, but it's got the red, black, and silver flakes.
Those are my two favorite colors too. I had Chaz Champagne on a few months back, and he said that his favorite colors are Holy Jolie.
Yeah, and maybe he's
and
fishing on
soup
Lake
too.
Pontchartrain. It's a little bit
Yeah.
different situation. We have a high shrimp population that our fish feed on like probably 90% of the time. So it kind of match the hatch. If you're fishing with those type of colors, they seem to work the best, especially underneath the cork and all. Anywhere from like in the colder part of the year, as it gets a little colder, find like the glow color baits work because unless you're in some areas that have like a high brackish water content where the water clarity gets really good. When you get in the cold winter and you're more in a high salinity area, the water's always has some hue of a stain to it, so your glow
Yes.
color works better. So like if you're in Dularge and you're fishing kind of south, like kind of towards Lost Lake or south of
Yeah.
that, it seems like you can get away with more like glow color or a glow chartreuse tail on a little bit windier day when the water's dirty, and when that water clears up and it gets ultra clear, you want to go with like more like that shrimp Creole color, or like a Magneto works really well as well.
Yeah. Green Goblin's another one of my favorite colors too. Just love that color. Boy,
Yeah, if I'm throwing like a swim bait, like the old Storm swim baits, like the little baby bass one, that one works very phenomenal in clean water. It's kind of got that green shad color.
Can you see the can you see this thing?
Yeah, that's that pink one.
Yeah. Well, no, this thing's about 4.5 inches long, close to 5 inches.
Okay, yeah, I can see it now.
This is called a skibble. And you throw this thing out and you pull it back and it comes back through the water like this, if you can see that hook.
Mm-hmm.
And it floats about an inch under the water and it makes a wake.
Okay, it's like a little subway bait.
Yeah, but it sits like this, about an inch under the water, so it makes a big wake, and it goes back and forth like this. I can't wait to try this out there when the big trout are in.
Yeah, that's really cool. A lot of times, like later in the year, you get a few days of a cold front. That water temperature drops down in the low 60s, maybe even like upper 50s, and then you get 2 or 3 days of like some kind of milder, warmer conditions. It gets foggy on the water. A lot of times, I take this time of year. I might not even have, if I don't have customers with me, a lot of times me and my friends go, and we'll just go throw top water all day for 10 fish or something just to get a big bite.
So you're throwing things like Zara Spooks or something like a Zara Spook?
We throw like spooks, one knockers. Now that I fish South Texas, we'll throw like those Mansfield knockers. They're kind of like a Zara Spook, but in the middle they're kind of, it's got a peanut shape, so it kind of the buoyancy sits on a 45 really well, where it kind of reduces, and it doesn't take very much effort to kind of twitch it. I'm a big skitter walk guy as well.
Oh yeah.
I like the skitter walk. I probably throw a skitter walk a little bit more than a spook, but my friend that's in here with me, he's more of a one knocker spook guy, and we equally do as good. It's a lot more about what you got confidence in throwing.
Yes, absolutely.
Throw it with confidence. You're gonna catch more fish than picking the colors and picking
how about
the type of
a whopper plopper?
It's not my favorite trout thing. I've seen great red fishing bait, great bass fishing bait. Um, I I believe, to me, from what I've seen, is they kind of like that, 3 to 6 twitches, walk the dog, and then when you stop it, it's more natural to a mullet. The whopper plopper, maybe like when it's like the water temperatures aren't that cold and the water temperature are warm, a more aggressive trout would hit a whopper plopper. But I've tried them a bunch of times. Not that I've had bites on them, but I don't get the same type of reaction bites that you get from when you walk the dog and you hit it with that quick pause.
Yes. Yeah, I fish a lot of the Grand Isle on the side of the road, and I fish that with there's a group of guys down there that's fantastic walking the dog. I've never seen anybody who can cast out at a max cast and walk the dog with like 100. I don't know
Well,
how.
a lot of times it makes a difference on the rod you get. I mean, you can go fishing every day and go to Walmart or Academy and buy a middle of the road rod and reel, and you can get away and you catch plenty of fish. But when you start fishing more technical aspects, it makes a big difference. Like, I'm sponsored by Waterloo, and
Sure.
I got almost every single rod that they got. And this week, an example, when we were in South Texas, we're stocking fish in knee-deep water, gin clear water, where you see the fish. You need a certain rod for the application of the bait that you're presenting the fish to give
Yes.
it the most effective presentation. And we were fishing all day for one fish, and my friend caught one today. 7 pounds 2 ounces, beautiful
Wow.
fish. But that
Wow.
was 2 guys. Both of us are professional fishermen,
Yeah.
and the guy down there knows the waters better than any of us, and he was the one that landed it. So, we all have Waterloo rods with the top notch, either Shimano reels, Bates reels,
Yep.
all the best of the best. And look, sometimes you don't need the best of the best to catch them, but in those presentation methods, I think buying the
Well,
the right gun for the right animal that you're presenting. So
when you have a superior rod,
a high dollar rod that is made with the right tip. All you got to do is twitch it just a little bit. And that thing, boom, 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 walks perfectly.
okay, when you're doing that, what kind of line are you using?
Well, today I've always been a Power Pro guy, and this
Sure,
guy
but
turned me on to Hercules 4-strand braid.
braid.
You
Okay,
could buy it on Amazon. It's like $20 for 300 yards or 1,000 yards. It's like crazy cheap.
$20 for 1,000 yards. Braid.
Yeah, it's Hercules 4-strand black is what
Wow.
we used, and it casts further than all the high dollar stuff that I used before. I was blown away. Actually, on my way home, I ordered 2,000 yard spools of 20 and 30. So
I
we're
bet you
using.
did.
I was using 20-pound test, 4-strand braid Hercules, and I was casting it on I had a Waterloo HP Slam Mag and a Waterloo Carbon Mag, and I fished mine with those Lew's custom carbon light reels, and I could literally cast every bit of 100 yards
Wow.
with
So,
a 1/8 ounce jig head with a straight tail bait. If you put a heavier thing on there, you could spool out the whole entire reel on like a 100 class reel.
so were you using a fluoro leader?
Yeah. So what we do is we tie like either a double uni knot or an Alberto knot. And it's all personal preference. On the
Sure.
water, that double uni is a little bit easier. Obviously,
Yeah.
the preferred method would be like FG knot or Alberto knot, but those are really hard sometimes to tie on a fly. And we were using those little fast snaps if we can get away
Sure.
with it. But sometimes they got floating grass there, and Louisiana don't have the floating grass as much. So just put like a 30-inch leader of fluorocarbon. Obviously, if you're throwing like something that you want the bait to sink more, if you're in a shallow water presentation and you want your bait not to sink as fast, then put up like a monofilament, anywhere from 25 to 30-pound test. Obviously, the higher monofilament you use, it's going to reduce the action of the bait, but it also helps maybe keep it up a little bit higher. So if you're fishing in shallow water and you don't want your bait to fall right away, you put some 30-pound tests on there, light jig head. And another thing is, like in Louisiana, we don't see it a lot, these 2-aught hooks. A lot of times everything's a 3-aught and 4-aught hook. A lot of stuff we learned from Texas, overfishing the last few years over there, is you can still catch big fish with a little bitty hook and a big bait, but it gives the bait 10 times more action, because as far as the hook goes back in the bait, that's stiff. It's like a dead bait. It doesn't move from where
But
the
man,
hook
when you
ends
get a
to
smaller hook,
where the huh?
I know that you know how to deal with this, but with a smaller hook, man, just for the guys who don't fish a whole lot, you better sweet talk her in.
Well, I mean, once they thump it pretty good, they're usually coming in and eating those fish. Look, I caught a 12-inch trout this week on an 8-inch bait with one of those small hooks. When they're
Okay.
aggressive and they're hitting it, especially just when you're sight casting or you're single casting, let's say like you're in a pipeline canal in a winter and you're throwing a 3/8 ounce jig head and they're on the bottom and you're bumping on the bottom, light presentation. I would say in that case, 2-odd hook on a little 2.5, 3-inch bait. Obviously, the colder it gets, you want to reduce the size of your bait. It gets,
Yes.
they get lethargic and they don't really want to eat much. You just kind of bump it in front of them. But when we have those milder temperatures or those warming trends, you can go like we said, you can go in the flats and throw these big top waters, and those fish they'll knock the shit out of it. You'll be surprised on how greedy a speckled trout is and what they eat comparatively to the size of the bait you use.
And one of our friends said hi to us, some saltwater madness that looks like Rick Bailey there.
Yeah, I know,
that?
Rick.
You see that on the bottom right? With your little screen.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it doesn't matter if you don't see it. I just think that's Rick. That looks like Rick Bailey. I need new glasses. I can't see very well right now.
I clicked on it, now I can't see you again.
Oh, it's no big deal. We can still hear you, man.
All right.
We can still hear you, but okay. So you brought up a good point. As the water cools, you're going to want to downsize, guys. Do you also slow down your presentations when the water cools?
Yeah. I mean, you can kind of feel it. So early morning, first thing in the morning, generally I don't care what the feeding period. Every morning and everything late in the afternoon, seems like your fish can be the most aggressive. But let's say it was really cold at night, you might want to, start off on like a little ledge where you got a little bit of deeper water, and throw something and kind of just work it real slow. Sometimes when it gets real cold like that, it feels like you catch a piece of grass, just that little bit of weight. You don't even feel like the knock all the time. And then as it warms up, those fish, let's say the water temperature's sub 60 degrees, those fish, when the sun gets high, they're going to start to push on those flats because that area is going to warm up faster. And then you can probably, present something a little bit bigger, but you're constantly still going to have to work it slow. I think when those fish get in that water temperature 65 on up, they can get pretty aggressive, and you could be a little bit more erratic with your baits. But yeah, so let's say I'm throwing like that marker 54 all summer long, I throw the big one. Come to the winter time, I'm going to throw that little one. Or another bait I use a lot, you can get them at John Estates in Homa, JC Enterprise in Homa off of 182. It's called a B2 squid, just like the squids they use offshore fishing as teaser baits. They make a little 2.5-inch one. It's got a pre-drilled hole in it. It fits really, really well on a death grip jig head. You can catch your whole limit on one bait in most days, and they make it in that shrimp Creole color. That's something I really like. When you throw that bait out there, most of these prefixed shrimp and all this stuff, if you're not popping it, it has no action. It's just sitting underneath the cork. Very little action as the wave action moves it. But those little tentacles, it's like an oversized tube jig. They're constantly flashing and making movement. I probably caught more fish underneath the cork on that bait than every single name brand, more pronounced name brand bait there is. I carry the 100 packs of them on my boat all the time.
Interesting. We also got another comment. A good friend of mine, also fellow podcaster, Cajun Rob. He said those Lou's custom light reels are legit. He just loves them.
It's a phenomenal reel. Look, I got those. I got Shimano's. I got the Bates reels. They're all great reels, but for the price point, you can find them. Sometimes you can find them on sale for like $269. But a lot of times they're right at the $300 price mark. They cast a mile. They're very easy to cast. They're not such a finicky reel like those Bates reels can be. And they got 20 pounds of drag for such a small reel. It's a pretty phenomenal reel for the price point.
That's nice. I like my Shimano Stratix, and I'm not sponsored by them, so I just like the reel.
I'm not sponsored. sponsored by Lose at all. So, I'm a sponsored by Waterloo Rods, but I'll be honest with you, they're great rods even before I ever was sponsored by them. Especially if you're going to get want a rod that you get custom built, you got great service, lifetime warranty on the rods. If you ever have a problem, you can send them in, and they'll take care of you. They're usually
Captain Tim brought up a good point here that if you want to take your fishing to the next level, go ahead and invest in a superior rod. That's when you're using spinning gear. You really want a superior rod. I use Grant rods. I've been with them for years now. Years. I know the owner. They also have a lifetime warranty, and they make all kinds of different rods for all kinds of different applications. You can call the owner of Grant rods, like I'm sure you could call the owner of Waterloo too. Talk to the owner.
The guy. There's a guy, Mike Vasquez, that works at Waterloo. Is really good. Works with anyone. A lot of times what I have is guys coming on a boat with me, and they'll pick up a rod and reel, and they'll be like, man, I love this combo you got right here. And I'll be like, look, don't worry about it. I said, I'm gonna take your name, I'll get your number down, I'm gonna call the shop, and I call the shop for them. And if they book a fishing trip with me, they'll get 10% off whatever they order. And they'll know exactly what rod and reel I have. They'll even put the line on it for you. You can they got a lamination thing where they can put your name on it or any type of saying you want on it. So they really go above and beyond and do a great job. Really friendly team of guys over there.
See, that's the kind of companies I like to work with, where you can call and talk to the owner, and you become almost like family because you're helping them, they're helping you. It's not like when you're working with some of these bigger companies. I don't like to bash any company, but it's just very
impersonal. Me neither.
Look,
I've been with Pure Fishing for ever since I've been a guide, which is all the Penn, Berkeley, and all that kind of stuff. There was a guy, Mr. Gerald Gas. There was a guy named Gerald Gaspar I worked with. He was the pro guy. We dealt with him when he was there. It was phenomenal. But then later on, it got bought out, and it's just a different thing. You're now dealing it's like going online and ordering. There's nobody to talk to.
Yeah, that's exactly how those big companies have become.
So that's why I made the move this year. This is the first year I went with Waterloo as far as using for my charter business. And I'm using their Salinity. It's a 7-foot medium heavy action. It's not the ones they sell in the Academy. That's more like a medium. It's too flimsy. It's a medium heavy, but it's more or less like a general medium action that our people are accustomed here. It's got a good backbone, good fast tip. You can sling a 4-horseman cord with even a 1/4 ounce jig head on it a mile, and you can pick up and throw a single rig or a double rig. And then even in February, when we're catching a sheephead on the rigs, I can sling in 7 and 8 pound sheephead, boat flip them, and you don't have to worry about the rod breaking. It's a great all around rod. They look good. They got a dark blue with a beautiful cork handle, and I've been using full fishing reels, Osprey Pro CE 2500s. It's a newer company out of Florida. They have it's also like they're kind of competitive with Shimano Stratics. They held up for me phenomenally this year. And if that reel breaks, you call the guy over there at Florida Fishing, same thing like Waterloo. They answer the phone, shipping and handling to send it to them. You either get a brand new or your reel's 100% repaired in 6 days. And you can't get that with Shimano. You can't get that with none of these other companies.
You've been fishing the saltwater a whole lot longer than I have. Now, when you're out there fishing all day long with like a Shimano, do you wash your reels every day? Uh-oh, I think you went into a bad spot. Can you hear me, Tim?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay, you can hear me now. Do you when you're out there fishing all day long, when you're out there fishing all day long in the saltwater, do you rinse off your reels every day?
Yeah. So I use that salt off.
Okay.
And when I get back to the dock, I hook it up to my hose, and it's got an attachment on it. Spray the whole boat down and spray the rod and reels with it. So it kind of eats, it kind of eat all the salt deposits.
Okay, good. I'd like to tell guys that because I made that mistake.
Well, a lot of guys, look, I'll be honest with you, a lot of guys get on a hose and it hit the hose real hard, that's not really good for your reels either. You know, if you're
Okay.
so you like mine attaches and it throws out like a foamer. So when you wash your rod and reels, you really want it like at normal hose pressure, but not with an actual like the gun of the hose. If you get what I'm saying,
I
if you
do.
shoot too high pressure on all your reels, eventually you can flush the grease out, and eventually you can mess up your reel like that. Even if you just took them freshwater fishing every day and hit them with a jet wash on a hose every day, eventually you would unless it's a total sealed system, which not all the reels are, especially the lower ones are not.
Yeah,
You could
the ones that
eventually
don't
just ruin
cost
them like that.
$800. No,
Yeah.
a lot of the ones that are less than $800 aren't sealed.
But I'll be honest with you, look, you can go out there, like when I fish the pin stuff, you can go out there with a pin fierce reel, pick them up for $75, $80. And a lot of the guides do it, and they run the $30 rods, and they buy it, and they use it all summer long, and then they get rid of them all and buy a whole other set for the next year. So, if I was a guy that was only fishing 5 to 10 times a year, that would be my investment.
Yes,
But
that's what I tell people. They say, well, is a $400, $500 rod worth it? I'm like, it's worth every penny to me. I fish all the time,
correct.
at least every other weekend, sometimes more in the wintertime.
And it's a lot of like we're saying, if you're going fish with a cork, are you going fish with a live bait croaker or something on the bottom, maybe in that essence, maybe a live bait on the bottom, you want a little bit more sensitive rod. But if you're fishing underneath the cork with dead shrimp in the marsh or on the side of the bank, there's no point. Just get you a rod that you can afford, and if something breaks, you go back and buy a new one. But if you're fishing more like single presentation lures, top waters, stuff where the bites are more sensitive, that's where it makes a tremendous difference where you use a higher quality rod, because the sensitivity between a $300 or $400 or $500 rod and a $50 rod is, it's a total thing. You can miss a lot of bites like that.
And also a $400 or $500 rod is going to be much lighter, and you're going to be able to cast that all day long.
Correct. So like that
every day, so you're probably in pretty good shape, but I'm not.
That custom carbon light reel that I have, I think it's like 4.6 ounces, and then the rod's 2 ounces, versus a pin battle spinning reel is 8.1 ounces. Just not before you put it on a rod, so.
Yes, exactly. And that's another thing I like about the good rods. You can cast them. They'll just catapult, like you said, catapult out an 8-ounce jig. And if you have a popping cork, you better watch out so that you don't pop your line off of it.
That's it.
Because you're just casting longer than you thought. It's happened to me before. I cast a lot longer than I thought I could.
Oh yeah.
And snap! Oh, good. Back to the truck. Put out more line. Dumbass. That's what I'm calling myself the whole way back to.
Yeah. I gotta put a few in your pocket,
First time you ever fished?
A few extra. I was, I put a little pack of baits with everything I'm using, especially if I was walking like that. But even like say wade fish, we wade fish. We grab a little bit of everything we need, like 2 or 3 replacements of everything. Get you a little pair of nippers. And
I grew up wade fishing up in northern Illinois, northern Wisconsin, and northern Michigan for smallmouth bass, walleyes, steelhead, trout.
The smallmouth would be really cool. That's another bucket list trip.
Green Bay, but probably Lake St. Clair would be a good place to go to your first time, because Green Bay is very difficult to fish. It's crystal clear water. The fish are very spooky, but also, you have a good chance at a 6-pounder there.
Right. Well, that would be sweet.
Where, Lake St. Clair, you got a good chance at, 25 3 to 4 pounders in a single day. And also in Lake St. Clair, you can also fish for muskies if you got a really good guide who knows how to fish for both.
When you fish those smallmouth over there, is it like deep water drop shotting, or is it more like a shallow water presentation?
Depends on the time of the year, because when they're spawning, but shallow water smallmouth are very difficult, particularly in Green Bay, because the water's so clear. Probably a lot like what you were doing. You got to get within. You better stay 100 yards away from them. And cast way past them, and pull it just ever so slightly past them. and just
Right.
start praying and sitting there, and with everything you got, you're sitting there trying to feel a bite with that much line out. But
Right.
it makes it all worth it when you do get that bite, and you all of a sudden you hook into it in 3 feet of water, and he just comes straight out of the water and does 2 backflips for you. And then that just, particularly when I was in my 20s, I used to do that a lot. Just scream. I would just scream when that happens. It's too exciting. Probably like hooking
Right.
into a 30-inch trout.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know. I never hooked into a 30-inch trout.
Me neither yet. It's coming.
25 inch.
Yeah. Me and my buddy that went, we go every year, and we'll probably start to go about 2 times a year. Louisiana, you have the opportunity to catch some big fish in Louisiana. It's just to generally just go target big fish of that caliber is a little tough, at least in the Cocodrie area. In Venice, I think they caught 10 or so over 7 pounds. One of the guides that we know this year, pretty phenomenal opportunity down there.
Yes.
But still, even they're not targeting them the same way we're targeting it. South Texas, Port Manfield area. I mean, everything you're fishing is knee deep or less, like we were. We did 3 days, 1 day in Baffin and 2 days in Port Mansfield, and we were walking in gin clear water. I mean, as clear as the water bottle that you drink. You can see everything. So
That sounds
in
like
that
spot
case,
and stalk. It's just so fun.
it was spot and stock. Like literally, you take a half a step every 5 or 10 seconds, and then you pause a little bit, and then if you can't make a really long cast, in some positions like that, you're not going to catch them. Some areas we'd see them, and you could almost pitch it to them and hand feed them. It just depends on how the opportunity presents itself, how hungry they are, and how spooky they are.
Wow. Well, that's great, Tim. Hey, Tim, do you have any shout outs you'd like to do?
I just shout out to the guys at Waterloo Outfitters in Victoria, Texas for riding reels, Florida Fishing guys, and Aaron Pierce with Four Horsemen Tackle, always taking care of me. Lane Zimmerman with Death Grip Jig Heads, and Coca Marina is where I run my business out of. It's a brand new marina. It's about $30 million renovation
Nice.
and going. We have a full service restaurant, live bands on the weekends. They got
Nice.
a swimming pool for the kids during the summer and adults. They have outdoor showers. So if you went fishing for the day and you did not stay, you can go in, take a shower, change your clothes like it's a shower with the rooms.
Yeah.
Full service like that. Many parking spots. We have all sizes of camps and condos for rental, and we have a brand new 39 unit hotel style building that will be finished up at probably the beginning of next summer. And
Did
our
you say
restaurant there,
restaurant?
yes, the restaurant is got a
That's
hired chef.
awesome.
It has a hired chef. The food's phenomenal. It has all your typical Cajun dishes. Plus, you can bring in your catch and they'll blacken it, fry it, or grill it. But they also serve ossobuco, filet mignons, like top notch
Oh,
stuff.
see, that's awesome. That's the one thing that's kind of missing down there is they don't have enough restaurants.
Right. And look, we got myself and there's about 15 other guides. We all work individually for ourselves. And then they also have Coca Marina offers a offshore charter fishing business, and they have 6 Freemans varying in different sizes with really good captains, and they go out there and they do anything from mangrove snapper, red snapper, sword fishing. They got a few of the guides there that are into that deep dropping slow pitch stuff. It's kind of a newer thing that's been happening in this area. Actually, the guy that's with me right now, my buddy Tyler Mystic, he works out of Coca Marina, and he's a slow pitch phenomenon. He's really, really good at the slow pitch, catching big old yellow edge grouper and stuff. They catch a fireback grouper, a bunch of exotic fish. That we don't catch any Warsaws where we're at, huh? Yeah, they catch a few. They just don't target them. But he likes to target a lot more like scamps and stuff like that. And when you're doing that, they like last year they caught some beautiful marble grouper, and those fireback groupers. So just some beautiful fish that you can catch. And right now it's like kind of like getting in the wahoo season. So they'll run wahoo season through the early part of the winter, and there's just unlimited opportunity which Coca Marina has to offer for the Terrebonne Parish area. That marina was kind of falling apart, and Mr. Benny Sinak bought it and took it over, and his son Jock Sinak is a big reason that he bought that, and he took it over. And a good buddy of mine, Chris Venable, he was a charter captain for over 20 years. He's managing the place, and they're just doing a phenomenal job. And it's a constant upgrades every year. Like, all the captains down there have brand new boat lifts with garages, with storage things. It's just, he's making it top notch. Nothing that man does is, short of perfect. So,
Okay,
if somebody wants to come down to Cocodrie, and it's, Venice is great. Venice got a lot of great fishing opportunities, stuff there, no doubt on them. But just the extra activities that people have to do, it's not like you're driving in and you're staying in a camp and you're cooking some food for yourself and eating ham sandwiches so the next day you go fishing. You come off the boat with us, you go and grab a bushwhacker at the marina, you listen to live music. They got, the girls are really nice in there. You got something to look at, to talk to. It's a good family atmosphere, not just for adults, but for kids as well.
Okay, Tim. Well, that's all the time we have for this evening. But thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on my show. I know you had a great time over there in Texas. I'm thrilled you guys caught some great fish. Guys, right down there at the bottom left of the screen, www.captain-tim.com. It's right there. You can see it. Go ahead and give him a call for a trip of a lifetime. I came down here from northern Illinois, guys, and I accidentally drank the water down here, but more than that, I fished on the coast. I'm still here. I came down here in 2011. The fishing down here is absolutely addictive, guys. And
there's just so much. There's so much you can do, and at a home you can freshwater fish, saltwater fish, all from a run's distance in Coca Marina.
You sure can. Guys, with that, I'm going to end the podcast. It's Thursday night. Make your plans. Go fishing. Go fishing, guys. You're not going to, in the end days, you're not going to be sitting there talking to your wife about all the fun you had watching TV. I promise you. Make those memories while you still can. Okay, Tim, stick around. I'm going to end the podcast, and I'll just stick around for a couple minutes.
Yes, sir.